Well, hello, I'm Sherry Jones. I'm sitting in for Andrew Aboud today in the A-List Hour. I'm very happy to be here. I have been a guest on Andrew's show, but today I get the privilege of being the interviewer to an incredible young man, Josh Lucier. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
joining
Sherry.
us today.
Thank
We're
you.
really happy to be here. Today's conversation is, I would say, a difficult one, but a very important one that we have. Josh is a student athlete at Olivet College, and you experienced a very traumatic and life-threatening incident almost 3 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been 3 years.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that at all.
And sometimes it feels like a flash, and sometimes it feels like a long time ago.
Right.
What really, during what should have been an ordinary day at the ballpark, right, turned into something that was very nightmarish for you, something you, I'm sure, never expected to happen. And our goal in this conversation is to talk a little bit about that, but I really want it to be about resilience and recovery and the human support that you got that surrounded you during that incident. And I want our listeners to know that we're going to be talking about things. Josh is very open. He's going to be talking about some things. So if anything like this might trigger you, in fact, I just want you to know that we are going to be talking about something like that. So take care of yourself as you listen to this podcast. Josh has chosen to share his story with us, and it takes a lot of courage. I appreciate you more than you know, and we're very grateful for you for your willingness to speak. So.
Thank you.
We're going to move at a pace that's comfortable to you.
Okay.
So just let me know how you're doing throughout this, all right?
For
So
sure.
I'm very aware of mental health and things like that when I do these interviews. And I've been doing interviews for 37 years, from everyone from moms who have lost their children to murder to the situation that happened at Michigan State. So I'm very in tune. And I want you to know they respect you and appreciate you. So I just wanted to get that out there before we take a deep dive. So,
sure.
all right. How are you doing, both physically and mentally? I think if, running into you, seeing you like this, you look like you're doing great. But tell me how you are.
Physically, there's ups and downs for sure every day because I'm still competing and still being an athlete. Mentally, it's getting better every day, and that's my thing, is get 1% better every day, and if you can do that, then it builds upon and you can get better. But there's ups and downs, but I'm definitely better than where I expected to be at, for sure.
Who helped you put the 1% better every day in your mind? Where did you get that?
That was my coach. After the incident, I came back 3 weeks later, and I started playing again, and he told me, hey, we don't need you to be at your best right now, but just get 1% better every day, and see how that gets. It was towards the end of the season. He said, maybe next year, just get 1% better every day over the off season, mentally and physically, and and then you can compare yourself to where you were 3 months ago, where you were last year, where were you at the start of your career versus the end of your career. You get 1% better every day. It builds up a lot more than you think.
And did you think that was doable when he said that to you?
No, I came back, and I mostly came back for my teammates. My coach told me, hey, if you want the rest of the season off, that's fine. That's where you don't expect you to come back. But I mostly came back for my teammates because I missed that brotherhood. Just being in my bed for 2 weeks and not being able to do anything, and I just missed that a lot. But at the time I did not expect to be able to get to where I'm at today. Not at all.
When you said I was back in 3 weeks, that kind of was stunning to me.
Yeah.
To think that you were like, okay, I'm going.
That's all I knew. I don't know how to describe it. I just stuff happens, and my number one goal is get back on the baseball field and trying to help my team win games and be there with my brothers. And that's all I know. It's just do your best, get back out there and help your brothers out.
How long had your coach been your coach at Olivet while you were playing baseball?
So my freshman year, we had a different coach, Shelby Dixon, and he left in the summer before my sophomore year. So Santiago Mendez, which is a coach there now, he had been my coach. He was my pitching coach for my first year, and then the head coach for 6 months up until that point.
Tell me, before we actually get to that night, having that coach in your life and your team and your players, baseball is very important to you.
Yeah.
So for our viewers that don't know you, why don't you share a little bit about who you are, why baseball is important, why you just said 3 weeks I needed to get back there.
Yeah.
Like, tell me a little bit about Josh.
So I've always known baseball was going to be my thing since I was younger. My grandma used to sit me down when I was 1 year old. She'd be watching me and said, we're going to watch the Tigers. And I guess my parents really knew that baseball was going to be my thing in T-ball because, while all the kids are picking dandelions and stuff, I'm trying to turn triple plays and stealing bases and, do what the guys do on the TV.
Right,
So
right.
I've always known that baseball was going to be my thing. And I think that really struck me when I was graduating high school and, I had accepted into Michigan Tech, accepted into MSU, all these schools, and Olivet was the one place that offered me a baseball scholarship, or not scholarship, but to play baseball on their team. And it just drug me in. I said, that's what I want to do. I want to play baseball in college, and that's why I just wanted to play baseball.
Mm-hmm. And for our listeners, what position did you play?
I'm a pitcher.
Okay.
So I actually not really pitched that much in high school, and on senior day for Hazlitt High School, I was pitching, and Santi was actually there and saw me, and he said I got recruited because of one pitch. I threw a 3-2 slider with the bases loaded, 2 outs, struck him out, and he said that's the moment he knew he wanted me.
Wow. So that's going in your book.
Yeah,
right?
One pitch. Yeah.
Wow. So you really hadn't pitched a lot, but you knew enough to throw that slider in that moment, and it worked.
Yeah, and it's not really a pitch I ever really threw. I just told my catcher, hey, we're going to try out some new stuff today because I saw pitching as a second to me, and I always liked hitting and first base more. But, when I got to Olivet, I was a two-way. They said you can pitch and you can hit a little bit, but I knew to help my team out, I needed to pitch because we were thin on pitching. So that's what I took up. I took upon myself, hey, I'm going to get better as a pitcher to help our team out, to help him win.
Awesome. And did you know that Santiago was in the stands at that time?
I did.
Oh.
My coach told me that day, he said, hey, I got some people coming out to scout you. And, I like challenges, and that fired me up for sure.
That's the same thing that happened to my son. He was playing basketball and football, and the guys were in the audience, and he had a good game that day, and so I know how that feels because there's extra pressure in that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you never when you're in high school, you're like, oh, I mean, I could go play in college and all this other stuff, and then once you actually see a scout in the stands with all the college attire on, you're like, okay, this is the real deal. Like this is getting serious now, and it definitely it's a level up, and it levels up your game.
And a right-handed or left-handed pitcher?
Right-handed.
Right-handed.
Yep.
And that's significant, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it
it's
is.
very significant.
Considering what has happened to you.
Yes.
So are you comfortable now kind of talking me through that game in Ohio?
Yes.
And how the game went, and then all of a sudden you got on the bus and you're like, I forgot my sweatshirt.
Yep. Yeah, so we were 0-10 going to that day. We're going to play Muskingum. They were a top 10 offense in the country for D3. Gets towards the end of the game. I don't remember the score. Maybe we're up 1 or 2. I come into the game. I close it out. Our team's fired up. We finally got that first win of the season. We get back to the bus. Forget my sweatshirt. I'm going back towards the dugout. I'm looking dugout and bullpen. Can't find it. And as I'm walking back, Franklin Grayson came up and he shot me once in my hip first and then in my shoulder. And then as I was running away towards the bus, he shot me again into my hip. And, I got back to the bus. The bus driver comes out and, he was an ex-Navy SEAL, I think. And he had his concealed carry on him, and he was kind of, protecting me and like making sure he's not following me. Muskingum parent came over, getting out the first aid kit, trying to stop the bleeding. Coach is calling 911. All my teammates scared, panicked. They don't really know what's going on. No one really knows what's going on. People are running everywhere. I think the Muskingum team was still on the field having their post-game chat when it happened. So they're all kind of spread all over the place. And, yeah, it was a crazy moment.
When you recount that, how do you feel when you say all that happened to you?
Honestly, it's kind of numbing to me now. I don't really know how to feel. It's just kind of a thing that happened to me, I guess. And it's just, part of my story. And I wish I could say, I'm so angry at him, or, oh, I wish it wasn't me or that, but it's just kind of a numbing feeling to me.
Mm-hmm. Did he say anything to you before he shot?
No, he just came up. He had his gun in his sweatshirt pocket and just pulled it out. Did not say anything to me.
Because we know that he was a graduate from Olivet, so at times people thought there might have been some kind of, you might have known each other.
Right.
But that was not the case.
No, yeah, he graduated before I even attended Olivet. Some of my teammates knew of him. They didn't know him personally, but yeah, he was on the boxing team at Olivet and graduated from there.
Did you, in the moments of the shooting, did you say anything to him like, whoa,
No, all I thought was get back to the bus, get back to where it's safe. Mm-hmm. That's all I thought about.
Do you revisit that? Like at first, did you revisit that a lot because you went right to the hospital, right?
Yeah. At first, yeah, I pretty much revisited it every day. For about a year and a half, I revisited it pretty much every day. And I thought, why me? And it's human nature to know there has to be a reason behind why it happened. And yeah, it pretty much bugged me for a year. Going out in public, I couldn't be at ease. I was always on edge, and I just thought that's how it was going to be the rest of my life. I didn't know that that's not okay, and that's not how it should be. And it's definitely still hard to go out in public, and anything could happen at any time. You could be at the wrong place, wrong time at any point.
And that's truly the way that it feels like for you. It's just this going back to get your sweatshirt.
Right, yeah. And, as time went on, more answers were given to me, and it's just a case of, wrong place, wrong time.
In the moments after, you had a very good bus driver, someone that was skilled to be able to help you.
Yeah.
What do you remember in your mind what you were thinking? Were you thinking about your family, your team, just your own self? Can you take me there?
Yeah, I was definitely thinking about my family, and I was thinking, am I going to be okay? I specifically remember breathing and making sure no blood's coming out of my mouth because I didn't know if I, ruptured a lung or whatever. But yeah, I was definitely thinking about my family. I was thinking about my girlfriend. Am I going to be able to get any last words out? What's going to happen? It's a lot of questions racing through the mind. I can't remember exactly, but I remember thinking about my girlfriend and my family and making sure I'm not coughing up any blood for sure.
Sometimes in those situations, time feels very slow, like slowing down.
Yeah.
Is that was it like that?
100%.
Yeah.
Just everything kind of slowed down. Felt like forever for the ambulance to get there, and just felt like everything was kind of happening in slow motion, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Was your family at the game watching?
They were not,
because it was in Ohio. It was an
right.
away game, right?
My mom was actually on an airplane, and she got the call on a plane from my frantic coach telling her, "Hey, Josh was shot. I don't know if he's going to be okay." And yeah, I feel very bad for my mom that she had to go through that, being 20,000 feet in the air, not knowing if her son's going to be okay or not.
Did she land and then get right back on a plane?
Yeah. My dad picked her up at the airport, and they drove straight down to the hospital, and they were there later that night around 2, 3 a.m.
And then how long were you in the hospital?
Just one night.
Really?
One night.
You're bionic.
That's what my teammates tell me all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was very lucky. I didn't have any very serious injuries where they had perform surgery at that point. And, I was able to, walk around every couple of hours, and I was let go that next morning.
But definitely, as you were demonstrating, where the bullets landed, definitely your right side.
Yeah.
Right, your pitching arm.
My pitching arm.
And you're thinking, how am I will I ever pitch again? How do I rehab? How do I get back?
Yeah, every time the doctor came in the room, I said, "How long till I'm back out there?" And my coach stayed with me until my parents got there, and I just kept asking me, I'm going to be back out there this season. I promise you, I'm going to be back out there. And he kept telling me, just take it one step at a time. Don't be too crazy on me. But I told him I'm going to be back out there.
So you're mentally tough. You're a mentally tough kid.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always been raised that way, very even keeled, just don't get too high, don't get too low, just kind of stay with your senses. And that's something my parents always taught me, and that's a good skill to have, I think.
And so that 1% better, right?
Right.
And that resilience. And did you seek mental health therapy? Did you talk to a therapist?
Not at the time, because of that, I thought, I'm going to be okay. And, I don't need any help. My mom was always bugging me. She's like, hey, if you want to do therapy, we can do it. I'm like, no, I'll be okay. And what actually hit me when I needed it is, so when I transferred to Cleary and Howell, our first game down in Ohio, we had the same umpires that were in Muskingum. So I went out there for the first inning, and everything was fine. And then as I was warming up for my second inning, the umpires came up to me and started talking to me about it. And that's when it kind of just, I couldn't focus. Everything shut down. I walked like 3 batters straight. My coach came and pulled me, and I had a panic attack. And that was the first time in my life I'd ever have a panic attack. And that's when it really hit me that, I need help, because, it's not supposed to be this way. And, leading up to that point, every time going out in public, I'm always on edge. I don't really want to go out and do anything. I'm just at home. That whole summer after I just stayed at home, I didn't really do anything besides, I played summer ball every Saturday and Sunday. And, besides that, I was just at home. And I thought that's what it was going to be like the rest of my life. And I thought that's, just how it was. And I didn't realize I needed help until that got to that point.
And it's totally understandable, and thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And you lost days, and you lost months, and you lost years of your life because of this traumatic event. And we don't always know what's going to trigger. We just don't know.
Right.
You'd done, and then these men, these officials who thought that they maybe could connect with you, didn't realize that during a game, it's like any performance.
Yeah.
It's a performance, so you don't try to get in there on a performance
Right.
because you have to be mentally locked in,
Yeah,
right?
right, yeah.
And so for you to recognize that you are, you're definitely feeling something's coming on.
Yeah.
You can't control.
Right. Yep.
And your coach, again, right there for you.
Yeah, my coaches at Cleary were very, because it's weird for them, when I transfer from Olivet to Cleary, they don't really like to talk. They don't know, they can't relate with it, right? Because they weren't there with, my coach was at Olivet, so they don't know. So after that happened, they were very helpful. They said, hey, we completely get it. It's okay. We understand what happens. At the time, they didn't really know. I came back to the dugout, just freaking out, having a panic attack. And I had to tell them, hey, those umpires are talking to me about what happened.
Yeah.
And, after that, they were awesome. And they were say, hey, man, it's okay. We get it. We're here for you. We support you. And, yeah, it was awesome.
Well, and good for you for speaking your truth, right?
Yeah,
for not just brushing it off or
Yeah.
really just saying. I mean, it's a lot to be expected of anyone. I mean, the fact that you're even out there doing it.
Right.
So you have the mental health aspect of it, and then you have the physical part of it.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that. Was it just in the weight room, working out, lifting, like being with your guys? How did you rebuild? And when you see because you have, there's evidence on your
Yeah,
body, right? How is it to deal with the evidence on your body from that?
I would say probably about 2 weeks after I was shot, I picked up a baseball, and I said, I'm going to try it out, see how it feels. It's definitely weird because those muscles just aren't really working like they're supposed to. And it was just weird the first couple of times coming back. But, I got back into it, and, when I came back, every time I'd pitch, the next day was awful. Like, my shoulder just hurt and hurt and hurt. And, that next summer I did physical therapy for my shoulder. I had to, I had to get it stronger. And that was 3 times a week, just going to physical therapy. And then on top of that, lifting 6 days a week. just for normal baseball stuff. And on top of that, I was, pitching as well in summer ball. But I could definitely notice my velo was down. My arm just wasn't working like it's supposed to. And to go along with the hip, and then the biggest thing in pitching is hip-shoulder separation. So, when both of those are gone and you can't move them like you're supposed to, you kind of got to rebuild your mechanics a little bit. I wasn't able to throw the ball like I was used to. So, I'd drop my arm slot a little bit because, my shoulder mobility isn't there. And, it was definitely tough. But, what else was I going to do? Was I going to quit baseball? No, that's not what I was taught. Just fight through it, and life's all about adjustments. So that's what I did.
It's a big lesson.
Yeah.
So you throw more sidearm now.
I do. Yeah. I used to be a little bit more over the top, but the shoulder just doesn't move like it used to. So I definitely had to, drop the arm slot a little bit, and that's what I had to do.
Well, a lot of people would, it would derail them completely. Just completely derail them.
Right.
But you have found a way to overcome. And that's impressive. I think that your personal life with your girlfriend, do you mind me asking, how did that stay together? Are you still with your girlfriend?
Yeah, she was awesome. She took care of me. She took off work for 2 weeks, and, I was bedridden for probably a week and a half of that. And, she took care of me. She fed me all my medications, made sure, I wasn't sleeping on my shoulder weird. And, she was awesome. She took really good care of me, and I'm very grateful for her. And she's still supporting me to this day. She's still coming out to the games, cheering me on.
That's awesome. And so now you're at Cleary.
Yes.
And how long are you going to be at Cleary College? Like how many more years? Or are you graduating soon?
I'm graduating this semester.
This semester.
Yep, this is my last ride. I got one more season left in me.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I had to redshirt last year because I got Tommy John surgery last year before that. So that was another big ride, It actually happened my first year at Cleary. I was pitching in a game, threw one pitch, and it just kind of happened. My whole arm went numb. And after that, it was definitely like, wow. I just got shot last year, and then now I'm going to have to get Tommy John surgery. And that was probably my lowest point because I just felt defeated. I thought nothing was going right. And, my dad came and he was like, what are you going to do? You can either, you can quit and, you can just go to school, or you can prove everyone wrong and you can get back to work and, get back out there and doing what you love to do.
Wow. What a guy.
Yeah. I love
Right?
my dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Like how supportive and motivating to you.
Right. Exactly.
And that's important to have people like that in your life.
100%.
So tell me, lessons learned from that. I can hear them.
Yeah.
What do you feel are the lessons that you've learned from this?
Biggest thing is don't take anything for granted. I can definitely tell my personality's changed from before that to now, 100%.
Tell me about that.
So, before I didn't take anything too seriously. And, I thought, playing college ball, I was just at a D3. It's not that big a deal. And after that happened, I was, if that's nothing's that big of a deal if you can put it in that perspective, because, you just go wrong time, wrong place. Anything can happen. Your life can be taken from you like that. So, it definitely it changed my mindset on life 100%. I don't take anything for granted anymore. Every day is a great day to go out and do what you love, and that's the biggest lesson I definitely took is don't take anything for granted.
And that's beautiful. And we shouldn't, right? We hear you should live today like it's your last day. Make sure that you tell everyone that you love them.
Right.
What if you woke up with only the things that you didn't thank God for the day before?
Right.
That's a real heavy one. If you really think about that, is living in a state of gratitude.
Right.
And it takes a lot, but you do have a lot to be grateful for.
I do.
And you feel like you have worked through so much because you could be very angry But you have paid a price, though. You
Yeah.
have paid a price for a young man because of this that happened at someone else's whim.
Yeah, no, it's it still doesn't feel real, to be honest with you. Like just talking about it, it kind of feels like talking about someone else's life at sometimes, and it also feels that sometimes that it's two different lives. What my life was before it happened, and then what it is after it happened. It feels like it was a very important just turning point in my life, and before it happened, it just doesn't even feel like me anymore. And I feel like it changed me a lot, and I think for the better. I could be like, oh, well, what happened if I didn't get shot and I didn't get Tommy John? I could have been so much better, or I could have been playing a lot more. And then on the flip side of that, you can go, well, you didn't go through all that, and you didn't get all those life lessons, and you didn't work your butt off to get to where you are. And maybe I wouldn't be as good as I am now because I would have been complacent, and I would have been, okay, this is fine, or where I'm at, instead of, let's get better. Let's get 1% better today.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And we had this situation right at Michigan State,
Right.
where those people were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And they probably have gone through a lot of the same emotional questions and all the feelings that you have too, and had to, some lost their lives, some are in wheelchairs. As we navigate this new world in which we live, what is your advice to people that, choose their church, or choose their movie theater, or choose their concert venue, or choose their sporting event? I guess we just have to be aware.
Right. Yeah, we do have to be aware. But at the same time, don't let it take control of your life, right? You can stay worrying about what's going to happen to you, if this is going to happen, this and that. But at the same time, you just got to live in the moment and do what you want to do, and don't let, that could happen. But then what are you going to do, stay at home all day and not go out? And that was the biggest lesson learned for me, was through therapy. My therapist said, this stuff, everything can happen to you. You can get in a car crash and all this other stuff, but so what? Go do what you love. Go do this. Go do that. Go hang out with friends, and have a good support system around you. Don't let it control your life. Don't let anxiety control your life.
I think we all can hear that.
Yeah.
I think we all can hear that
Right.
lesson.
Yeah.
So what's next for Josh? You have this last semester. What's on the horizon? Like, what do you see yourself? I know that's a big question, but like a year from now, 5 years from now, what do you want to do? You probably should be a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Or we can go on the road together.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
I don't know. I've been super focused on baseball this past year. I want this last year to be a good year. And so I've been super focused on baseball. I'm getting my degree in accounting.
Oh.
So, I'd like to do something with that. But my true passion obviously is baseball. I'd love to be a baseball coach. Anywhere anyone would have me, baseball coach is at the top of my list. But accounting, just get a job somewhere, and I'd love to coach baseball on the side. I help out at Hazlitt all the time.
Oh, good.
And I love doing that for Hudson Whitmore down in Hazlitt.
Great. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Well, I'm sure Andrew knows some people that are in the accounting. I do as well.
Right.
And we're just grateful that we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
We're grateful for you sharing your story. We appreciate your resilience and your fortitude as a human being, and that hopefully you'll just continue to get 1% better every day.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the goal.
All right. Thank you so much, Josh.
Thank you, Sherry.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.